Hello and welcome back to the Minetrek.net game server. Yay! Working over here on the Enterprise E still. And Shadow Appler came on and did some work in this area here for me. And show you kind of what he did here. Probably saw that in the intro video there as he was kind of working away there, just having some fun doing his Shadow Appler stuff. But yeah, he kind of laid out the floor plan here a little bit and did some stuff up here. It's going to be like a little area for tables and like a little snack food bar kind of a thing and whatnot. I did go ahead and grab the other half of the ship and bring it down, being careful when I mirrored to not eradicate these areas on the opposite sides. You can see this side here is a medical bay. Jonah, medical bay. Anyways, then over here is a storage locker for phasers and whatnot. I'm trying to decide if this is actually a mistake or not. I don't know. I'm going to leave it alone. Anyways, I also backed up the ship so I can import modifications to it and not have to worry about it. I did make some other changes to the ship above us here. Let's go ahead and buzz up here real quick. I fixed some of the flaws that I found from working on this section here. And I backed it up, but I want to see if that bathroom is, what that looks like in here. Come through here. Yeah, okay, it's the same. Alrighty. Good to know. Good to know. Anyways, let's go ahead and buzz on back down through here and drop on down. I also pulled out the last little sections of the fishy tank area, or in this case, it'll be the rare gas environment. And let's go ahead and buzz back down here, fly along here like so, and then we'll just come down through here and I'll show you a little bit of what I've done. Alright, now that we have the two sides joined together, I went ahead and made a community restroom right here in the center, and we come out into here. You can see that this will be an open area. There'll be like a bunch of tables and whatnot up here just for, just to look out. I also did some work on this side of the grotto, laying out sort of a, kind of a garden-ish sort of a design. And you can see a little bit of the wall, but changed a little bit of the walls in the background there, kind of following through with what Shadow Appler started over there, but with a little bit more of a design. You can see there's an actual design to it. So yeah, just to break it up so it's a little bit more interesting. Also laid in the lights, because why not? And this is just me playing around, working on stuff, trying to come up with just a basic idea for the area. And of course it's not going to get mirrored, so the port side will be different or its own unique style, and that way there you can go from one end of the grotto up over to the other end, and it'll all be different, with the exception, I think I'll keep the center section here like it is with the stairs and stuff like that. I think I'll keep all of this kind of the way it is, but change everything else. And over here I was kind of contemplating, like under the sky bridge, maybe over in this area here, kind of have like a rock waterfall sort of a thing, and it can't really go far because of the fact that I can't go below this. So it all has to be kind of raised up just a little bit because I have to hide the hull and all that and everything. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We're off to a slow start. It's going to be a while. I'm thinking quite a long while before this will be done. I'd like to get it done sooner than not, but given that everybody currently is probably at home, sheltering at home, or self-quarantining at home because of the bat flu or kung flu or Wan flu, Fu Man flu, whatever the heck it's called, I don't know. Anyways, beer flu. But since everybody's self-quarantining and because of the Wuhan flu, I figure, yeah, might as well pull this out and see if I could, railroad some young, unsuspecting, wannabe starship designer into helping me work on this area. And so far, the only one I was able to rope into this sad affair is Shadow Appler, and well, you saw what he did, and then he boogered off because he's like, no, I got more important things to do, like excavating my left nostril while reading a comic book sitting on the loo. So I'm on my own for now. Anyways, I took this other section here and I converted it into a. I'm joking about that whole Lou thing. He was sitting at his computer desk. Anyways, I converted this area into a mixed use research lab, so they could do all kinds of, like, iffy dark federation experiments on how to blow up Romulan stars and stuff like that. They could do all the research and stuff in here. That way, they have a transporter. They can also move cargo and whatnot in, and also have these pass-throughs with airlocks. Because here is the first chamber of the rare atmosphere environment. This environment can be flooded, or it can be filled with a gas-ish. And I gotta remember that this is what this looks like. And of course, they have the escape pod, or if they fill it full of cargo, the cargo escape pod or fish escape pod. And then we have, okay, that's definitely gonna get fixed. Okay, my bad. I see things, I must fix them at times, because reasons. But yeah, I kept all the windows in the labs intact through here. I just remodeled it considerably. You even left the little crossover area here so they can look up into the area and whatnot. Again, these can also be anything they want them to be. They can be filled with water, rare atmosphere. They can put people in here, then accidentally fill it with, methane fuel, and whoops, missed some more blocks. Oh, darn it. Things like that. But also the same thing here. Passover was the transporter, and the only way into this room is through the transporter. I might have to come back and fix that. I might actually have to put an airlock on this side too. I don't know yet. But this one would probably be just an extension of that room right there. And of course you have your little observation lounge thing right here, and then a crossover. Actually, no, you can get in here. You can get in here from right here. Okay. Little airlock right here with a little pressure chamber in case you have to have it, raised a few pascals or whatever. And through here. Oops. Dang it. Fix this wall. There we go. And yeah, just a rare atmosphere environment. And here's a room that is completely, self-contained. So yeah, you can quarantine things in here and do whatever you want to do in here. I like it. It's a lot cleaner. I like the look of it a lot better than previously. If we go up to the ship, you'll see that, yeah, this looks a lot better than what I currently have. Yeah. Yeah, a lot better. A lot better. So, I was going to copy these in and go ahead and put these in because this section here is done as far as I'm concerned. So I want to put it in and see how it looks, and then I'll move the other one up as needed. Let's go ahead and highlight her and get her all ready to go back up into the spaceship proper. Ooh, the big whalefish tank. Gotta have that whalefish. Oxo. Whale tastes good. So shark fin. I like that shark fin stuff too. That's some tasty stuff. Get yourself some shark fin stew. Of course, I am joking. Don't be offended by my dark humor. I'm stuck at home. What do you expect? I'm gonna have to have some dark humor. I'm gonna go ahead and just copy this. Oops, gotta enter the right command. Copy. There. Yep. I too graduated from the public school system, so I know how to spell. I'm hoping that because I don't think the light's up there. Yeah, I don't think the light's up here. Crap. That ain't gonna work for me. I'm gonna have to come back down here and do this. 6. There, I drop back down. Come on, come on, come on. Alright, so what am I gonna do here? Best thing to do would be to go straight up to this point right here. And then copy it from right here. Sorry guys, gotta be all business here, no more joking around. If I mess this up, I could really foobar the ship, and I don't particularly want to foobar my ship. And by mine, I mean the build I am currently working on. Jesus, calm down. Alright. Now we'll know if we messed up here in a second. Man, we totally messed up. Man, that sucks. Oh man, where's all my stuff at? No, I'm just joking. Gotta go over this way here to get to it. There we go. Well, it looks like it's all intact. We'll know if we come in here and this is off center. It's not, it's fine. Okay, 6. There we go. Okay, cool. Alright, no mess up. Alright, so this section here looks pretty good. I'll, of course, have to go on the other side and fix what I messed up on that as well, but the slight changes that I've made to this section will have to be mirrored on the other section before I actually move it up there. Yeah, there's no way into that room unless you have the magic ability of that, but I wanted to see how these transporters came together. This is just a crossover here, and okay, I can live with that, maybe. I don't know. Let's go to the other side and see what that looks like here real quick. You didn't think the ship was this wide, did you? Yeah, she's a wide ship. She's a big girl. Come on. It's amazing. Even though I've gone through this ship a dozen it's the same thing, a dozen times or so thus far, I still consistently find things that I have to fix. Like I thought for sure I, for example, done all the light fixtures, and then I'm finding out, nope, I missed a few. Yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is. I gotta roll with what I have, and so as I find these things, I've been fixing them, and I'm hoping that make sure all this is kosher. Up through here it is. Back down through here looks pretty good. As I find these mistakes, I've been fixing them, and so far so good. I haven't had too many problems, so I'm pretty happy with that. Just go in here, make sure. There we go. This is one of the areas I gotta update. There we go. And probably have to go back on the other side and do that too, but it's no big deal. I can do that when I get back up there. You got to be consistent between the two sides. That's the big problem. Is if I make a change on one side, I have to make it on both sides, and that can get to be kind of a difficult thing to pull off if you don't stay on top of it. So if you make a change, you have to go make the change on the other side almost right away, or you forget. But I won't forget because I have it on recording. So when I watch this back later on, I'll be like, oh yeah, I gotta go do that. Doggone it, I completely spaced that off. But yeah, let's go ahead and copy this one up now. Come on. Right to here, and we will do the same thing before, is copy. And I'll transluce myself and go back solid. And we'll fly straight up. I do watch the coordinates, make sure that my X and my Y don't change on me. The Z, of course, will, because reasons. And I'll go paste. And then I'll go insolvent again. And we'll zip on through here. Looks pretty good. Do the old turbolift check. Yep. Looking good, looking good. Now if we fly through here and go all the way up to here, we transition into this room here. Bam. Yeah, the old room. You can see how this looks. I mean, for the time that I built it, it was functional. But man, I tell you, I'm much more liking what I'm doing down here. I can tell you straight up that this is a lot more functional for what I want to do. This area here, even if it's empty like this, it still looks better. It just does. And especially if I can, get the creative juices flowing and get some folks to kind of, pitch in a little bit, and we can keep going on this. I think it'll come together kind of nice. I mean, again, there's so many options available. I mean, I don't do interior designing; it's just not my thing. I can get by with this, and this is just, me trying to do something that others do much better. And by others, I mean, there are a lot of other people that do a lot better interior design. And granted, I could go and look at the aft section of the ship that was done up by Mad Squirrel and take ideas from that and whatnot, which I probably will. But you know, it's funner, much more enjoyable to kind of brain hammer out your own ideas instead of borrowing from other people's. Although, if the wheel's invented, why reinvent it? Just go look at the wheel, and if you can come up with a better tread plan, pattern, then go with that. But overall, the wheel's been invented. Use the wheel, and I think that's a viable thing. But anyways, yeah, it's coming together. The section will be coming together pretty quickly. Let's go back down here and actually fly out of here and tuck that one little section that I modified. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you that as well. It's not in the ship yet, so we'll have to do it from down here. There it is. So this is what I did with this, the heat exchanger. I went ahead and componented it out. Got a big heat exchanger unit right here, and I should pull this out and stick it in the boneyard once. And I think the boneyard's actually completed, or it should be. But anyways, this is what I did for the heat exchangers. And if we go out, you'll see what I mean. This thing right here. So this is how they get rid of excess heat that they don't use for other purposes, and that works out really well. I like that. I like that design a lot better than I thought I would. Now there is a lot about this ship that I can go back through and I could remodel and redo hands over fist. I kid you not. Like all these emergency lockers through here can all be changed, and when we do eventually get around to doing a new Sovereign or Enterprise E build, I'm pretty sure a lot of the lessons that were learned from this, as well as other builds, the Luminosity B and the other builds like that, will come together, and we will hopefully be able to pull off a pretty magnificent build. I mean, I am very happy with this build as it is, and just working on it and updating it. Years ago when I started this one, and we moved from this ship to the Enterprise D, I really wasn't happy with how we had left this girl, and I'm very happy that last year, I think it was actually 2 years ago, December, I got in and started working on her after updating the Fearless. And overall, I've been very, very happy with how this refit's gone. Granted, there's still a lot of areas like the nacelles and things like that that I still have to go through and update, but overall, I am very pleased with how this ship got remodeled. And I've learned so much, and I hope that through what I've learned, it'll make it easier when we go to build the new ship as well. And that is, it's how can I put it in terms? These things take a lot of time to build, and building one and then immediately scrapping it and building another one can be a bit frustrating. But having done that, rebuilding with what we learned, we can build so much better. Now, we were lucky that I could go through and remodel this ship, so we don't have to rebuild her, although we have a better hull, and once all the detail work on it's done, we'll have a better idea of how well to lay her out. But on all things considered, we have to go back and we have to rebuild the Voyager, because the Voyager's single walls. The same thing with the Defiant. They're dated builds now. They're both over 6 years old. It would benefit. We cannot retrofit those ships. They have to be completely rebuilt from the ground up, and that's why the Voyager and the Defiant have to be rebuilt. It will probably end up rebuilding like the Enterprise A, the B, the C, with the new hulls and stuff. Now, I could theoretically go back and retrofit the old Enterprise A like I did with the Fearless, but I'd like to actually get a crack at a bigger hull, because I have ideas and whatnot that I want to play around with and whatnot. So yeah, but yeah, overall, I mean, I'm very happy with how the E's come together, and it's such a beautiful ship. And you don't really get the scale of it until you're just kind of flying along and looking at it like I'm doing right now. And you start to get the scale of the ship. And it is actually very big on the interior. It has a huge interior space to explore. And we've been working through it, exploring areas and checking stuff out, remodeling stuff. The next big area I want to work on will be this impulse engine bay. I really want to go through here and just pull this section out and remodel it. While we're here, I think it's over this way. I'm not sure. I could be wrong, but let's fly this way and see what we run into. It's been a while. This is actually a new build area, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to risk it because I don't know exactly where I'll be flying off to. So let's just kind of stick around a little bit to what we know, and maybe we'll get lucky and find something over here. Well, there's something over here. There's like a nacelle. This is Jamie's work area for the Luminosity B, it looks like. Not sure. This is a big one. Okay, yeah, this will work. Check out this engineering bay, that blue phobes. Now, I helped lay this out when I laid out the design for the Luminosity B, a lot of the deck plans and stuff like that, and I laid out a little bit of the area for this engineering bay, but holy hell, look at what they did. My gosh. The design of this is just amazing. It's just, well, nothing down there to look at, but this impulse bay is just gorgeous. And it's not finished by any ways. They still got a lot of stuff they're building and things like that. But look at the layout of this. The engines, the pods, all the catwalks and things like that. Now I remember 2 years ago when Shadow Appler was working on this. He's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have no idea. It's one of those things that and I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll flesh it out. And we kind of fleshed out a basic kind of layout. And then I went back. He said he wasn't happy with that, and I went back and I kind of laid out again, and we did some corridor work and other things like that. But hear that? That's lava. That's the sound of lava. And you got the basic shape down. And I remember setting up this side here apart. And if we go up here, or right there it is, we have a little crossover here that I remember helping him lay the corridors out. Here's the work that I did, and we laid out a little pathway so that the two impulse engines can meet. And these are umbilicals, most likely. This is his umbilical system, pump, ODN junction. Yeah, these are most likely umbilicals. And just helping him set that all up and everything else. And to see him put it together in practical terms, and just, oh my gosh. But yeah, we're gonna borrow ideas from his impulse bay for the rebuild of the Enterprise E over there, which will probably become the Sovereign, to be honest with you. And he was in here, and he was doing a lot of reworks around in here as well. This is his hangar. I don't know how fresh any of this is, to be frank. I really don't know what his plans are, but we did a lot of redesign. I think we raised the hangar bay, or the cargo, or the parking bay. We raised the parking by one, and he ended up with a whole extra deck, and we were working the extra deck because he wanted a massive cargo complex. And then he just sort of kind of lost interest in the ship, to be honest with you, and started working on something else. It's hard to wrap your mind around it, but the Luminosity B is absolutely significantly larger than the Sovereign as far as volume goes on the interior spaces. And yeah, you have to really plan a lot of this stuff out. And it'd be a shame if Appler decided to just abandon this build, because if he does, I'd be like, dude, Dad, come back to it. Do more with it. You can do more. You can be more. I remember this was a pain because you had to kind of work your way around it. And I don't even know what that is, to be honest with you. I know it was the same problem on the Sovereign that he's having right now with his Luminosity B with that. But yeah, all the escape pods, having to lay out the pathing for all the escape pods. I ended up pushing the corridor to the outside here, and yeah, it's because you got so many areas that you can use and you can't use, and you're trying to plan stuff out for how to do things. And it would be like a Jeffries tube, and whatnot. And you get limits because you can't do this, you can't do that. You just, because things get in the way, and you're like, oh, this is just too much to overcome. And then, like with the E, when I was working on the E, I realized, well, why can't I change the hull just a little bit, add a little extra space here, move that block ever so slightly to one side, that kind of stuff. And if you make a subtle change that doesn't really affect much, as long as I don't, do like I did with the Voyager and completely remake the whole hull and ruin it, we don't discuss that. yeah, it'll work for us. It'll work out a lot better for us. And what is this? Ooh, pretty hull. I think this is the new Enterprise E hull. It's over here to be worked on, if I'm not mistaken. This new active project area, might not be. It might just be the saucer. Somebody wanted to turn it into where you separate the ship, and yeah, you can do it. I know I did it, and it was a pain in the pipe when I made my first ship, but I built that hull from scratch. So it was a lot easier to do it then. If you have to go back and retrofit in saucer separation, it's a gimmick. Don't do it. Seriously, it is an absolute gimmick. Don't do it. It's not worth it, folks. Somebody's been working on this one. I don't know. This is the looks like a Sovereign. Fly around this side. Ooh, look at that, decks and all. Whoops. What did we go through? What is this? This looks like the Luminosity's bridge. Yeah, it is. It's the old Luminosity bridge. I like this. He did a really nice job with this. I like this bridge. This is a nice bridge. I don't know what ship this is. Oh, it'll tell us right here. Slow down. Stop it. There we come down here. Minetrek 2016. Yep, this is the original Luminosity bridge. Which I think he did a really nice job with it, although it's using modded blocks, and I'm not a fan of modded blocks because you build your ships out in vanilla first, and then switch to modded blocks. After when you go back to do your second or third pass, switch to your modded blocks. The reason being is if you have the ship built in vanilla, you'll always have something to go back to if something happens to the mod. So keep that in mind. But yeah, it looks like this might be part of his Luminosity B build, or a variant of their set. I don't know if it's the new Enterprise E or not. There's a lot of excess hull parts and stuff floating around here, so it's hard to say what is and what isn't. NCC something. Might be the Enterprise. Well, could be. Yeah, look at that. It says Enterprise right there. I can read that. If you can't, that's tough. That's on you. It ain't on me. That's my problem. But yeah, check out how they do the hull work. I mean, look at that. I don't know, to be honest with you, how they pull it off, but the detailing they get, like if you look here, you see that angle goes all the way back like that. That's just pretty cool how they pull that off, and it's all from this right here as a basis. I don't see how they go from that to that. Do you? I don't. But they pull it off, and it looks good. So you got these nice big escape pods. Gotta have the big escape pods. What starship would not be a starship without big escape pods? You got your transporter thingamajiggy right there. You know, it'd be fun would be to take one of these Sovereign classes after we rebuild one, and kit bash it, make it a unique one. Like I'd love to take one of these and just turn it into a massive hangar, a massive carrier. Like 70% of the saucers, like just nothing but a big hangar. You know, just this whole like section through here, all the way out to this, right? It's not this first loop, but this loop right here. All of this just all hangar. Well, that brings me back. Coming back in here, looking at this, I remember spending weeks, actually longer than that, probably closer to months, cleaning the hull, the old school style on the first Sovereign, the one that we were just over on. Coming through here when it used to look like this, and cleaning the hull out. Oh man, that I have to go back through and watch some of those older videos, because I'm kind of curious now. I wonder how much of that has actually been recorded, because whoa, you know, that was a long time ago, and we started with a hull like that, and I remember cleaning it up and literally knocking blocks out of it by hand, one at a time, because we didn't have a better method for it. But yeah. It looks like we got somebody over here. Oh, these are the deck plans. Yeah, these are the deck plans for the Enterprise E. These are mine, by the way. I created these deck plans. Well, the pattern. I even put the slices over here. But yeah, check that out. I'm very pleased with how I laid out the Enterprise E initially. Of course, now things have been changed slightly again since these deck plans were laid, but not too much. I mean, just a minor little changes here and there. But yeah, if you're curious, just go on the Dynamap and take a look at the Dynamap. It's up in the upper left-hand corner. And I also have a video out where I do believe I toured, yeah, you can see it right here, where I toured the Enterprise E after I laid it all out. And you can see this section right here. In one of our earlier videos from this latest batch of videos, I was talking about how these areas are slightly different as far as being laid out. And this is around the parking bay of the drive section. And there's the warp core, and it's got this little pathways, this little conduits. So basically, the line, the trunk line would come along here, go this path here, and then it would go up to the pylons, into the nacelles. But beforehand, this wall right here was literally right up along this gray wall right here, and there's no corridor there. I added the corridor, but when I added the corridor, I had to shorten the parking bay down by the size of the corridor. Also, when I did that, I culled this section out. I realized that I could also lay in an entire Jeffries tube above that area as well, so that I could tie the front part or the mid part of the ship to the aft part of the ship via Jeffries tubes, and we could take advantage of the space that was lost because of trying to stick to a pre-established set of ideas that once done, I could go back through and revise, which I did here, and I took advantage of the extra space. And we have this other little layer in here, and that's why it's sitting out and apart from this, because it's considered part of this deck, but it's its own little deck on its own. So just kind of cool because there's an actual little section right there. So the ship actually has one more deck than is actually reported, but this right here would be technically part of this deck right here. It's just a cool concept. It really is. It looks like some of the parts were no, they're all in line. It looked like that was slightly off from that one, but who knows. But yeah, I'm really happy with this. I had to come back through here and just copy this whole section and just keep it for posterity, because I knew Blue Phobes had an idea where he was basically cutting out the sections and turning them into an actual printed blueprint form, and I thought that was really cool. But he said he can't do it with this because when he renders this, these blocks don't look like this in the Dynamap. They look a lot different in the Dynamap, which they do. They only look like this on the server, which is a shame because the Dynamap is the best place to get these shots from because you can scale it better. But yeah, here's the hangar bay. Now, you'll note it doesn't have the revision, so this section here would definitely have to be updated for the revised hangar modifications that we did, as well as the upper parking bay as well. But yeah, and there's the medical complex. You can see it. It's glory. I really like how that medical complex came out. Now, it's a good time to point out that when you mirror the ship, you're mirroring. If you were to mirror the Enterprise currently, you would mirror, say, from the port side to the starboard side. You would lose this. As you can see, they're definitely different between the two sides. Now, that is the case going all through the ship, including the Enterprise D, where I've had some people mirror things. I don't know why they did it, but it got mirrored, and I've had to go back through and pull all that out and redo it. But if we start here, this is the main bridge, along with Picard's ready room and the lounge. And then this would be like deck 2. And I had to rebuild a lot of that stuff on the Enterprise D, and it darn near pushed me to the point of rage quitting permanently. So I try to remind people, don't mirror something, because chances are pretty good there's going to be differences between the two halves, like right there. So yeah, just be mindful of that. Anyways, this is deck 3. Then you got your deck 4 right here, and you check it all out. Lays out really well. I remember laying all this stuff out years and years ago, and then coming back through and rethinking some of it and rebuilding some of it was kind of fun, actually. It was very enjoyable to do. Who would have thought that actually having to rebuild something and rethink it would provide with a lot more fun factor? And everybody plays Minecraft for their own reasons. For me, I play it because I enjoy doing this. It allows me to, breathe my creativity a little bit. Other folks play it for other reasons. Kids play it because, they have nothing better to do. But adults play it for a lot of reasons because it allows us to be creative with what we're doing. And it's fun. It is a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. You can waste hours just thinking things and doing things, especially with modded Minecraft. Oh my god. Modded is a lot of fun too. But yeah, look at the the intricacies of the layout. Everything is being used. Every space, for the most part, is being used. And granted, I am still going through the Enterprise E, filling in and trying to make sure that everything is done correctly. Find mistakes, fix the mistakes. If I find areas that I can improve upon them as well. But yeah, here's the main drive hall, primary hall medical complex. You can see the center is slightly different, but the sides are pretty much the same. Yeah, she came together really well. And you pull the old ship apart, which is currently on Planet Minecraft. If you want to have the original build of this, you can pull it off the Planet Minecraft, and you can see as you explore that vessel compared to this vessel, it is a lot different. Here's the other part of the medical complex, including the morgue and autopsy. The critical bays, which I might actually go back through and redesign these as well. I'm not really happy with the way they look on the interior part, the block-wise, but the layout's fine. And then, of course, we have the hangar bay and all that other stuff. I also was able to go through when I remodeled it and redo a lot of the Jeffries tubes and rethink a lot of the Jeffries tubes as well. Now, the important thing when you're looking at these plans, if you want to get an idea how to build your own starship, these are an excellent source of information. One of the main reasons I did it. Look at the way the Jeffries tubes are laid out and how they're not all on one deck. How they'll, like, a good example, right? The Jeffries tubes. We'll look at the Turbolifts right here. You have to forgive me. I feel like I'm, Joe Biden trying to talk, and I keep forgetting what I'm saying. Anyways, right here are the Turbolifts. You see how that design is like that? And if we were to say go up to the ship, up to this next deck up here, and we're looking for Turbolifts, you'll see how the Turbolifts, the pattern for the Turbolifts, we're actually right above it. You see how it goes around the side of the ship? Now, if you're not seeing it, it's right here. So the Turbolifts come around like this. They go out to that corridor there, and then come over to that corridor there, and they kind of, I don't know what we call that, but sort of a arm bend back in, and then back around the sides here. And if we come down to this deck right here, you can see where the crossover, the arm bend, they connect right there. So you have Turbolift connections right here, and then they connect up here and right here, and then they come back to here. If we go back further, you can see the Turbolifts here. They all connect, but they're not all on the same deck. They're spread out. And the way they're spread out is, think of like a CPU. Each layer of the CPU is interconnected with a layer above it and below it, but they're not all identical layers. But you have to have pathways that lead from the very top of the CPU that sort of snake their way, not snake, but layer their way down through in a very precise pattern that allows the CPU to put power to every circuit or every capacitor, everything on the CPU. So if it needs to go from upper right to lower left, it can do it. And the layout is imperative as to how it does it. Now this will be another little area that will have to be updated because, of course, we're remodeling the grotto. So this deck here needs to be updated as well. But yeah, just look at the Dynamap. Even if it doesn't really look like this on the Dynamap, you can still figure it out from looking at the Dynamap. And especially with the Enterprise D, because that Turbolift on the Enterprise D was fairly complex. The Sovereigns is pretty basic, but the Turbolift system on the Enterprise D, that was many months of headache to lay that baby out. And you can't really get the detail for the Jeffries tube systems unless you know what you're specifically looking at. But most of the Jeffries tubes should look something like this. Okay, with gray lines with dark in the center. And the thing with Jeffries tubes is they'll cross corridors and things like that. So you gotta kind of look for them and sort of kind of map it out. And some of the stuff may not even be seen because it's not actually displayed here on these images, these cutouts. You won't really see it. but they're there. They're just, you know, between layers of decks and things like that. So keep that in mind. But yeah, this right here would probably be one of the first layers. If the ship were to actually have a separating point plane, this would probably be where it would at. You know, not probably. This is where the separating plane would most likely be at. And initially, when I was designing the ship, I had planned that it would be one that would separate, and I was going to lay out the whole plans for the separating system, the interlocks, and all that stuff. But it was designed pretty on not to be a ship that's separated. And our logic again is pretty simple. They phased that design out as a weakness, and Starfleet felt it was just a gimmick and decided that they didn't want to in any future builds. So they phased it out of all existing builds and did not incorporate it into any new builds. But as you can see, the corridors kind of match the hull, and that's what you want to kind of look for when you're designing the ship. Even if you look at some of the older blueprints that have been drawn up for starships dating back to the 70s, they all sort of kind of match the hull. The shape of the interior is dictated by the shape of the exterior. If it's a round saucer, it's not going to have square corridors. It's going to be rounded corridors, and so forth. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Do appreciate you taking time to watch. Again, this is the Minetrek.net game server. If you've managed to bore your way through this video this far, I sincerely appreciate it. Hit that like button for me. Post a comment. You know, what's your favorite starship? It seems to be a favorite one. Anyways, thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.